for us to go back to the drawing board to review our long-standing fee-based models. Are there other models we can tap into? Could banks and other financial institutions use subscription-based models or freemium models that are prevalent in the technology industry, especially today as the bridge between tech and financial services continue to get shorter and shorter? Finally, stakeholders in the financial services industry must always approach creating, selling, and supporting financial products and services from a user-centered mindset. Beyond lip service, we must take insights from detailed customer feedback reports like this and other treasure troves of transactional and behavioral data to learn more about our customers, their goals, and their need to build new and improved existing digital products that best align with those we seek to serve. This is the only way we can tap into the significant social and economic potential of Gen Z and millennials, and arguably any customer segments. As we proceed with the event today, my gentle pleas for the millennials, the Gen Zs, and us wannabes, we all want to be part of that cool gang, to understand that we all have a role to play in redefining these opportunities for financial services growth and be proactive in playing them. Be clear on the problems that we experience, be deliberate to innovate to solve those real problems, and of course, consistently leverage on technology because that gives us exponential growth and scale. I thank you for listening this morning. Thank you for participating. I look forward to continuing to play a part in the growth and deepening of technology, innovation in financial services, and I plead that you enjoy the rest of the event today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Segun Adeniyi. As a millennial, I could relate totally to some of the demands, and I call them demands. Indeed, financial services must look into demands such as reduction of service charges. If you are a millennial or in Gen Z, if I read the demand, just say, here. Can you do that for me? So we know that we're speaking your mind. So first one, I just took a few points. Financial services must look into demands such as reduction of service charges. That year was very low. Do we have students here? That's one. Second one, improved customer services. It's getting louder. The third one, new innovative models to better serve this unique group. Thank you very much. Thank you once again, Mr. Adeniyi, for setting the tone for this very important conversation that we must have at this time to further understand this very unique group. Without further ado, we will be going straight into the panel discussions. So I'd like to call on the moderator who will be introducing the panelists. He is the group head, Lagos 1 and West Commercial Banking Division of Access Bank, Mr. Lukman Martins. So Mr. Lukman will be introducing the other panelists for the panel discussions. Thank you.
Thank you. Hope I'm audible.
A bit more, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, especially Millennial and Gen Z. Thank you for honoring us with your presence. Today's event is all about you, trying to understand you, your banking needs, financial requirements, and providing solutions for those. Okay, so I would like to invite members of the panel. We have Mr. Chuma Ezuri, Group Executive of E-Business and Retail Products. He's joining us online. Larry Oladimeji, Head Retail Banking, Zenith Bank. Please, if you are here, kindly join us. Please have a seat. Thank you. Dumoke Olushoga, Chief Strategy Officer. Please, thank you for joining us. Chizom Ekaite, International Operations Officer, Providence Bank. She's here representing the Millennial. Please have a seat. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so the theme is tapping the Millennial and Gen Z marketing, redefining opportunities for financial services and growth. So I've been told that Millennial and Gen Z represent a significant portion of the population, and getting them into the banking system, meeting their needs, is imperative for any financial institution to be successful. If we project our Nigerian population to be over 200 million, that means we have about 100 million potential customers in that space. Okay. The Millennial and Gen Z, by most study, they are between 12 and 42 years as at this year. You can find, you discover that they were brought up during when computer and digital service was just evolving for the Millennial. For Gen Z, they, all their lives, they always look into a device anywhere they go. They want services to be available at any point, at any time. And so it's important that we understand their perspective for the industry, for the financial services industry to be successful and be able to service. So I'll start. Chuma with us. Is he online? So while we're waiting for Chuma to join us, I'll go on to Larry. Larry, thank you for joining us. What do you think is the future of retail and personal banking from the perspective of this generation?
Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Larry Oladimeji again from Zenith Bank. The future of retail for this generation we are looking at is actually digital. And when we talk about digital, for the Gen Z especially, they are born into it. And anything you are doing, and you are not connected via those particular platform where they love to be, then you will not be speaking to them. Before now, you see customers coming to the banking hall, come do their transactions and the like. But what does the Gen Z and maybe the millennial segment want nowadays? You meet them where they are. And where are they? They are on the digital platform. They are, even with their friends, some of us that are here, that are Gen Z, you see them, they don't likely talk to anyone. They just want to connect via those digital platform where they can do their transactions as they move on the go. So in terms of retail must be digital, and everybody knows what is driving, what is actually the bedrock of what we're even talking about, especially in this country. The bedrock is, or what is giving us that strength, is the population base. Any bank today that is not actually looking at retail may likely lose out. I give you an example. Look at the population of Lagos today is about maybe 15 million, and there are projections that in the next maybe in the next 5-10 years we'll be looking at 50 million. And will any bank just see 40 million customers, 50 million retailers, and just ignore it? And even go further, the population of Nigeria, so maybe 6 million now. 50% of this particular, I mean, 6 million are maybe ages 25 or 30 and body. Any bank that will actually succeed will look at how to grow the retail segments, the millennials, and then the Gen Z that we have, that we are talking about today. Thank you.
Thank you. You have had a chance to look at the report. What stands out to you in the report, and what do you think is the most imperative action that the industry needs to take?
Thank you very much, sir. Again, my name is Jumoke Olusoga. I'm Chief Strategy Officer of Fitc Financials. So I think the most outstanding thing, or one thing that stands out for me, is as Mr. Larry has said, this demographic are digital natives. So their entire experience, they want to be able to start it and end it digitally. So for instance, if we are talking about starting a banking relationship, they want to be able to open those accounts on their mobile phones, and to the point of even the after-sales support. So they are now customers of the bank, they got into some of the products, and then the service, everything after that experience should be on the phone. There's no reason to go into a branch and say that they want to do something when everything can be done digitally. So I'll give an example. For the most part now, you can apply for, and again, like Mr. Larry said, everything, a lot of banks and fintechs are now really, they understand this need for this demographic, and I don't think there's any bank now that doesn't have a digital platform. Everybody has, you know, a mobile app, etc. But then it now comes down to the products, the offerings, the service, the support that this category of people can actually get on these platforms. So for instance, the millennials are getting to the point where one of their highest demands now will be mortgages. I'm not sure that there's any mobile app that I can go on now and say that I want to apply for a mortgage. There has to be a lot of interaction, physical interaction. There would have to be conversations around, oh, where have you been working? How long have you worked there? What is your history, your credit history, and all of that. And so we have to start looking, I mean, from the report, we see what this category of people want. And we have to start looking beyond the platforms into the offerings and the products, the service that this category of people can get on those platforms. Thank you.
Thank you. Perhaps the most important thing on the panel. What do you think? What do you think is the critical needs of Gen Z and the millennials?
Thank you very much. I want to speak in a way that I can connect to my generation. My generation, are you there? Okay, thank you very much. So I would want to say for my generation, we are very particular. Mr. Larry talked about transaction on the go, and I want to say beyond just transacting, we want to even get profit on the go. That's why when you see us moving, yes, what I mean is this. My generation, we're not so particular about, you know, you're saying, okay, you're my banker and you're just holding my money. I don't get information, financial information. I'm not being educated and you're just holding my money. We don't want that kind of relationship. I believe one of our needs is that while I have a banking relationship with you, I should be able to learn. I should be able to know how to save money. Because already we were born into this generation where there's recession, there are a lot of issues we have to settle with. While we're even trying to come out of it, we came into the period of lockdown. So you should be able to teach me how to save money in case it happens in the future. Another thing is we don't want a kind of banking that is static. Because of what we've experienced already, we know that anything can happen. So it should be banking on the go. I should be able to move anywhere and to bank. And if I'm somewhere outside where the time zone is not the same as where your bank is located, I should be able to access service at every time. So this, I think, is one of the issues that should be is part of the problems that the millennials will face and should be really addressed when it comes to the banking. Thank you.
Thank you. Larry, she mentioned something about, I think she wants to have a two-way communication channel between the bank and the cohort that we're talking about here? How do you think we can do that?
Yes, thank you again. Just like she said, in terms of connection with the banks, how do you do that? The major way, or let's say the cheaper way, is for us as banks, even as government, to ensure that there are platforms that people can connect to in a very, very cheap way. She mentioned that, it's not only giving me service on the go, that you should equally give me profit on the go. Meaning, if I have money in your bank, you must be able to pay me interest on it, no matter how small. So that it's not like you are using my money and you are not giving me anything on it. You can be rest assured that 50 naira, 100 naira to the Gen Zs are actually they are very, very important. What they just want is, I just want something on my money. I'm not saying you should give me, because what I even have is not so much. But whatever I give to you, whatever I have with you, you must be able to give me something on it. And that's what she's driving at. And they must be able to connect with us anytime. So any bank is able to offer a seamless way of connecting with the Gen Z, a give back mechanism where you don't only keep what they have with you, but you are able to return something to them on whatever they give to you. Is actually going to attract that particular segment into the field. Thank you.
Question for you.
So we have a speaker online who would also want to, yes. Mr. Chuma is online and he would also like to participate. Thank you.
Chuma, good morning. Hope you can hear me. I think you're on mute. Hello? Okay, why we try to sort out
Yes, speak again.
So I was going to ask you, given all the issues that have been highlighted in the report, how do you think
I'm guessing that by non-traditional banks, you mean like the fintechs. So, because I'm in the fintech space, I understand that it's somewhat competitive right now. Like the banks are thinking that these people are taking our customers, they're trying to, and then for the fintechs as well, they're a bit not afraid of the banks, but then they understand that the banks have a lot more financial muscle, and they have, that customer base, and they have all those advantages, and based on how long they've been there. We have banks that have been here over 100 years. We have fintechs that have been here 5-10 years and are still, in the process. So it's almost difficult to say that two people that are, almost struggling for the same things should collaborate. But we got to the point where it is inevitable that that collaboration happens. And being in that space, I know that there's a lot of it happening now, and we see the benefits. The truth is, for the fintechs, there's some technology, there's specialized services that they're able to offer that the banks may just struggle with because of their size and their scale. So you know that, for instance, if you're going to change the entire process, especially with the level of regulation as well in that sector, some of these things are not as easy. But then for the fintech, there's that opportunity because they are more nimble and they are more flexible, and there are certain things they can research and just work around with. And I'll give an example in lending, which is we are a big player in that space. For the most part, you interact. I get the opportunity to interact with customers sometimes. I know, like one of the challenges that they would say is, for instance, if they go to their banks to get this financing, there's that important part where there's reference to how long they've been banking. So for instance, they need to have maintained a salary account for like 6 months or something like that. Again, I'll take it back to the demographic that we're talking about. For the Gen Zs and the Millennials, especially for us that are working here, we understand that they're a bit more mobile than the other generations. So you see someone that has worked somewhere for 2 years and they're getting a bit restless or getting a bit bored. They want more, they want new experiences, and so they move to another employer. And at that point, maybe they need a credit facility, and then their salary account is new because they just changed employers. And then, unfortunately, they're not able to get that service because they haven't maybe run that account up to 6 months. Now, these are areas where the fintechs can come in because they're using other factors, and they've been able to experience these issues a bit more, and just have a bit more grasp into that deeper retail lending. So that's just one area where, at that point, those banks and then the fintechs can collaborate to the ultimate end of satisfying the customers, because that's why we're all here. It's about ensuring that our customers are getting the best value. And just to address what my co-panelists talked about, profit, I'll just take your permission, please get your permission to convert that profit to value. It's about getting value. So even if it's not, because really, you have savings in your account now. I don't think there's any bank or fintech that will give you 18%, which is at par with inflation, right? So at that point, it's about value. What other, even if it's not monetary, how she talked about learning, right? So again, we're talking digital. So on your mobile app, how can you educate these people? What snippets can you give them about savings, about financial intelligence, etc.? And I think that this is just basically how we can address these matters. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have Chuma now? Chuma.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yes. Okay. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. I don't know what kind of insight have you given looking at the report? You to share.
Sorry, I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I asked that for going through the report, what kind of insight have you gained in going through the report?
Sorry, I'm having to let me just make sure. Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So let me just make some. Okay, so I want to thank Chisel and team for the survey reports, and I totally agree with all the comments, including those of the key new speaker. Those are 3 points, and I think for me it's implied in the reports. One is that okay, so any bank that does not really understand the importance of this segment, okay, of course, doing that at the same time, this for us in the bank where I work, is a very critical segment of our customer base. You so what I write is a mobile-based digital banking strategy. If you look at the millennials, things are going to change, and they're changing. One is that for this millennial, for this segment of our customer base, it's no longer where you bank. It is how you bank. Very important. So they are not going to be asking you, whether you bank with First Bank or with UBA or with Kuda. They are going to be asking you, how do you bank? So for me, any offering relating the millennials, they should be bank agnostic. And so two is, I also agree with the findings, that they are very price sensitive. So what it means is that banks will have to start rethinking their digital banking fee structure. Okay, so if our revenue lines today are going to be wiped out, if we really want to bank this segment. I also agree with the comments by some of us here, that their personal finance management is so key. So when you take a survey of digital banking apps, the question is, how many of those apps and for me is that when we consider today as loyalty, okay, is threatened. These guys are not very well trained brand. Fifth, is the fact that the competitive advantage that banks have in the financial services industry, which is trust, is being threatened. These guys do not really care, so that first factor is not there. Okay, last year, one of the very leading musicians in the country, just for fun, on Instagram, said that he's celebrating his birthday. Or as an answer, prayer, based 20 million or 100 million. In more than 24 hours, he bought 2 times. He has a followership of more than 20 million. There is no bank in Nigeria that has an active transacting base of more than 25 million customers. So this is just so what I ask my bank is that if this guy decides to offer financial services, can you imagine the number of active accounts he's going to get from Fitc? And in less than 24 hours, he was able to get more than 200% of so it's just an issue of trust. And these are the people that are benefiting this money. I see the people that will complain about $4 and that charge. So this leads to the final point I want to make, which is offering services beyond banking. And I'm sure we have all spoken to that. Where we have to offer services that are compelling, that are addressing not only payment needs of our customers, but their lifestyle needs. And that is where I feel that some of the challenges we are having today, we are using to offer services to our customers today, are threatened. I see a situation where the next couple of years, no bank will be offering issuing of physical cards. Most of those channels are going to be neutralized. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. To close, I'd like to take a bit of your thoughts here. So let's look forward 10 years from now. Given what we know now, and how do you
a lot more Gen Z people active, not just as customers, but also offering those services. Because we have people now, we have university students here who are going to be in those banks. We have millennials now who are already in those banks, and at that time, they are making the decisions, and they're going to be making it based on their understanding of life. These people are digital natives, so ordinarily everything is going to be around digital. And as I spoke before, it's going to be beyond the platforms, because everybody understands that digital platforms now is very important in offering banking services. It's going to be really about the products, the offerings. What can I get on those platforms? It's not enough to just have those platforms, but really what value can I get on those platforms?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much again. Yes, what I see, or It's very, very. What I see clearly, even from where I work perspective, is that most of the things that we do, we move to mobile. People will want to connect with you through the mobile channel, and regulators are going to equally play a very huge role in the way we see the future. Because you see, even in Ghana just launched their Ghana Pay, and whatever we do that will make things easy for the segment we are talking about is going to actually define what or how things are going to look in the future. And in terms of banks, one of the key things that is going to determine how things work as well is how, as a bank, you are able to digitize most of your solutions to customers. One of the key denominators that maybe is common to all the banks is your technology platform. How nimble it is, how stable it is, how easy is our customers able to connect with you. So once we have all this in place, the bank that is going to win will be a bank that is able to connect with customers seamlessly. And what I see is that any bank that is able to actually connect with customers seamlessly is likely to win. And even the economy generally, whichever organization is able to digitize whatever they are doing, is likely to actually win or attract population, sales, and whatever you may call it to it. But you see, CBN is, at the forefront of most of the things we are doing, especially in terms of financial inclusion. And even as strong or as pushy as they are, we still see so many people still transacting in cash. So, and why they're transacting in cash is because they've not been able to find a very easy way for them to collect their sales in a way that is hitting their bottom line almost immediately. So I see a situation where digitization will continue to expand what we do in the industry, will continue to expand what we do in the bank, and in the economy generally. So growth is what I see, and I see a situation where people will be able to connect with each other using the mobile platform. Thank you.
Thank you. To my online, I do think the Millennial and Gen Zs will affect the evolution of the financial services in Nigeria.
Digital, we've stressed that already because of the discussion. So I'll walk into your bank because it's my own needs. Yes, I'm a student, I have a product that fits my own needs. Beyond just the fact that I'm a student, you have a product that meets my need as an undergraduate student, or as or I'm in college, you have something that meets my needs. You have something that meets my own needs as market, I own it as a market, I own it as a market, I own it as a
Everybody physically present here as a panel. Everybody physically present here.
Banks or mortgage banks or retail banks or fintechs. We need to start paying more attention into what this demography of the population needs today and what they will need in the future. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much again. My last word or parting word will be, what do you want? The Gen Zs that are here, the millennials that are here, even other segments that are here, what do you want? Come to Zenith. We are ready for that. Thank you.
Okay, I want to say that in all of this, gathering the data from where we are now and what will be in the future is actually what to give you insight to what will actually be in the future. So while we are gathering all this information, getting digital, making banking to become easy, let's also be conscious of the fact that you might not accurately get what will be in the future, but if we're able to gather this data to know what the future might look like, it will help us to develop services that will fit our needs both now and in the future, and also services that has to do with that conserves the environment. Recently, Providence Bank, we launched a card that is eco-friendly, and you can just walk into the bank. For every card that you take, we plant a tree to your name. So that's also a way of conserving the environment, and it's the environment that all of us are in. So that's my last words. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. No, just a minute. Yes. You're not allowed to go yet. Thank you very much. I really want to especially recognize the presence of the Deputy Governor, Financial System Stability, Central Bank of Nigeria, and Chairman FITC Board, Mrs. Aisha Ahmad. You're welcome. Thank you very much for all the supporting. Yes. So before they go, we'd like to take some comments and questions from the audience. I'm very sure we have some. So very quickly, we're going to be taking some questions and comments. Yes, can I have an usher here to help me pass the mic? Very quickly, yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Deepo from Sterling Bank. Maybe I missed it, but I just wanted to add that something very important to help scale this is to employ many of these Gen Zs in the workplace, because they can actually, envisage what they need for the customers in their categories. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Questions, comments?
Thank you very much. Good morning to everyone. And thank you for joining us. Let me congratulate the FITC team for always raising the bar in everything they do. I have a specific question. I know I'll be launching the report, but I'm speaking now as a spectator here. I was taking some notes. I think the conversation about value-adding services and value-add in terms of supporting your customers. In my past experience, I worked in retail. And I think one of the most important areas that we focused on was access to market. So it's not just about providing information that's value adding. The truth is that you can actually Google almost everything you want to be. Even if you want to be an astronaut, you can Google it. I think what financial institutions should be doing is, and this is on both sides of the aisle, both the banks and those that are sort of considered as non-banks, is trying to see how you can create a market and provide access to market based on the database you have. This is the gig economy. That is the truth. Everybody has a side gig. It's now accepted. In the past, it was frowned upon, but now it's actually expected that you should have something else that you're doing. It's about providing opportunities to create additional income for your customers based on them dealing with you. And so it's not just about, okay, let me give you a loan, let me give you a mortgage per se. But this conversation brings out certain challenges that we're not really thinking about. I was looking at some parts of the report. Everybody wants to bank mobile. That's the preferred channel, not only for account opening, for payment transactions and for loans. But they also, and I was very surprised to see that as a need of millennials and Gen Zs, they also want information security. They want to be protected from fraud. It used to be something that we used to ascribe to the baby boomers and above, which are the older people. We used to say that older people don't want to engage with the mobile channel or the digital channel because they're afraid that their information will be used or their accounts will be attacked. But millennials and Gen Zs also value this. And this is where I think financial institutions need to do better. Because affect financial inclusion if people cannot trust that their information is safe, their data will not be used improperly, or that their monies will be taken from their accounts. It's very important. And the way financial institutions address this problem, I think they need to do better. They need to have systems that are in the front line that can quickly resolve the issues. If you have a challenge with 1,000 naira, 2,000 naira they took from your account, it's important to use 2,000 naira you worked for. You shouldn't have to wait for 60 days to get your money back. There should be somebody in the front that is authorized to resolve that issue very quickly. I think it's also important to mention that these issues around competition, I know that's not what we're talking about here, but it came up and I thought I should address it. The regulatory perspective is not banks versus fintechs. The regulatory perspective is the entire system. Yes, some of us regulators have come from the banking sector, but I want you to trust me to understand that what we're trying to do is to ensure that the system is available for everyone. And it will surprise you that a lot of the products and a lot of the technology that fintechs are using, banks are using as well. Fintech products, banking products are almost indistinguishable, that is the truth, across certain banks. I know banks today, traditional banks that can offer you a loan straight through processing end-to-end on your mobile phone is something I did when we were in Hugo, remember, straight through, get a loan on your phone. It was a bank that offered it. So yes, I know that some digital financial service providers say they're doing this is unique. It's almost indistinguishable. So we need, for us, our perspective is get more people into the system. Competition is good for the system because it works for all of us. I can bargain better if I have other options. And it raises the bar. When you compete, it raises the bar in terms of the level of service expected. Because everyone, what is the word? We we end up at the lowest common multiple. And if that lowest common multiple is a high standard, then those that are coming into the system will have to meet that standard. So that's the view on that. I don't think it's against, and things like open banking, which we're coming up with, we came out with the framework for open banking. What that is meant to do is to enable banks to collaborate with fintechs and share information. And it will be easier for all of us engaging in financial services. Another thing we're trying to do is harmonize KYC. Don't you find it annoying when you have to go to one bank, give them all your information, go to the next bank, give them all your information, and you're thinking, but this information is somewhere. The only missing piece is being able to ensure that we have your permission to use your information here. So I see a world where one day you want to open an account anywhere, even online, and your information is somewhere. All you need to do is click yes for them to share, and your account is open. So report, let me just congratulate FITC. I can talk on and on because there's so many things I saw in this report that have changed the way we're thinking about this segment. And this is the future. It's the future of Nigeria, it's the future of Africa, and I encourage financial institutions to take this report very seriously. Well done, MD, and well done, everyone.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Let me thank the panelists and also to congratulate FITC for this very laudable objective. I see an organization that is responding, to what to the digital transformation that we all see all over the world. Sectors are changing. Everything is changing all around us. And there's something that Jack Welch said that I like. He said that if the rate of change on the outside is more than the rate of change on the inside, then the end is near. So what we're saying today is FITC responding to change. And I think it's very important for all of us, whether we're banks, regulators, to understand that, look, we're seeing an era of disruptive technologies, an era of artificial intelligence, an era of massive transformation, data analytics, robotics, and the sooner you can respond to this, the better for you to get market share. So just for me to congratulate FITC and the team for this. I'm very proud of what you're doing, and thank you. And secondly, you made a comment about maybe banks a bit, I don't want to say you said we're kind of concerned about what we see about the fintechs doing. Well, you see, what the fintechs are doing is part of what we're talking about. They are transforming the old system. But you see, banks are not so much that worried. There are two things we can do. That's one thing we've been doing very well at Zenith. Number one is that we can collaborate with you. There are a lot of services that, as you offer them, you need banks, as settlement banks. You need us for so many services, all right? So banks that can position themselves to partner with you across these various services that you render, you can take advantage of it. There are so many fintechs we have that were the settlement banks, for example. They leave balances with us. We are offering card partnerships, to you. We're giving you even our mobile technology for you to, to layer on it and do a lot with us. Number two, we can compete with you. Like Madam Aisha said, a lot of what you're doing, we're also doing actually. But like I said, we're a bigger elephant, okay? We are focused on many other things. So maybe you don't see it, but if you look at the financials of banks, if you take them to read it, you'll be surprised to see what the contribution of electronic banking income is now to the bottom line. It's increasing. I can tell you that a bank like Zenith about 6 years ago, our profit base is driven by corporates, is driven by interest income and a bit of non-interest income. But if you look at our income base now, you see a massive increase in respect of electronic banking fees. And I can tell you it's published. It's about, last year, about 42 billion from these same services that you think only you fintechs are. We are there. So we're collaborating with you. We're also competing with you. We can compete with you on retail loans. We do loans a lot. We've grown our loans massively. Okay. We can also compete with you even on for PFs. On engagement pathways, MPGs. We compete there also. We can compete in agency banking. We're doing massively there. We're also deploying agents all over, like the MMOs, like the best of the OPAs, you know. So we're not so much like, you know, what you guys have done is to also wake us up to understand that, you know, the world has changed and we must respond as fast as you're also responding, okay? And one thing my chairman said, you know, Jim Ovia, he said that, you know, if you don't make technology your friend, it will become your enemy. And that's what we've all done, making technology our friends. And for the millennials, we embrace you, we love you, come with your comments, we're changing to respond to your needs, okay? And we'll continue to do that as bankers. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. More questions? Yes.
Thank you, everyone. I'm really happy that there's a lot of representation here for banks, because I have a few comments that would help. So I bank globally, and I'd like to tell you something about millennials and Gen Zs is they look for companies, they look for banks that align with their values. So if I'm seeking a bank, I want a bank I can trust. I want a bank that has similar values as I do, right? And that applies to jobs too. When we're looking for new jobs, we're looking at, do we have similar values? So Ahmed spoke about fraudulent protection, and that is a huge thing for millennials and for me who banks globally, right? I flew into the country and I got an alert from Chase telling me someone had used my debit card fraudulently while I was in the air. I didn't have to call the bank, I didn't have to go to a branch. All I did was click in my email and say, no, this was not me. Right there and then, they acknowledge your cards have been closed, we're going to mail you a new card. My debit card was expiring. I had to go into the bank to get a new debit card, waited for hours just to be able to get a new card, and I get home and I'm charged for that card. That was a shock to me. I didn't know you were being charged for a new debit card, right? I find the banks here love fees, SMS a lot fee, this fee, that fee. That's enough reason to close your account. Oh, but it's CBN authorizing these fees, right? But enough of that is what causes people to go to banks like us.
CBN prescribes the maximum that banks can charge. Maximum. And they really don't need to go to that maximum. They can decide not to even charge at all. I think once we start looking at the pie as bigger and not fighting for the existing business space, we find out that a lot of these things we don't even really need to charge for. So it's CBN's defense. So if anybody tells you CBN say charge, no, CBN say this is it. And we always been trying to reduce it. In 2019, we reduced ATM fees, which was causing a lot of problems by 30%. And I know that some banks today don't even charge because it's a competitive strategy for them. So don't call CBN, everyone. Well done.
Thank you very much, ma'am. More comments? Yes, over there. I sort of like the way the banks and the regulators are fighting over us. We should have more of these sessions. Thank you.
Yes,
go ahead.
My name is Adekun Kelvin from Bales University, Technology. I'm here to appreciate your the speakers for what you've done for the Jay-Z's and the Millennial.
Can you speak up a bit, please?
Okay. I'm here to appreciate the panel for what you've done for the Jay-Z's and the Millennial. I just wanted to quickly ask about, I'm speaking on behalf of the Jay-Z's in the rural area due to poor network connection. You know, the Jay-Z's want to feel among using this banking enlightenment, this proper digital banking enlightenment. So what is your approach for them, sir?
Just to summarize, what are your plans for Gen Zs in the rural areas?
Thank you so much. In terms of what, let me speak for Zenith. What we are doing, in fact, your data, and that's why we planted those locations in several universities. Anybody that is, if you go to Unilag now, you see a massive building that we just donated to them, so that students can go into those locations, do your assignments, connect with your parents, do whatever you want to do, free. And the only thing we require from you is, just your password is like your account number. So we do that free today. It's not, and even we've been doing it for the past 20 years. And not only in the universities. What we're even doing now is, that's the trade secret anyway, I don't need to mention that. But we are partnering with the telcos to ensure that we drive down the cost of data for our customers. In some locations in the bank, so many of our locations that are close to the market, you see that we can connect with us using our own Wi-Fi, and we are the one bearing the cost. So apart from what we are doing in the universities, we are equally looking at the market, the SME segments. So those are some of the things that we are doing, and I'm very sure as we begin to expand our retail footprint in various locations, we begin to do this, and even in not a long time from now, you see what we'll be doing in several of the markets that relate to this. So those are some of the things we are doing to support not only the Gen Zs, not only the millennials, but even the SME segment of the market. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We'll take one here.
I mean, there's so much you can do just with a code string, right? So if it's a transfer, if it's airtime top-up, or, airtime purchase, rather. For the rural, it's a bit, their demands are a bit different from the urban areas, which is where our presence is at the moment. And so a lot of research has to go into what exactly they want. And again, when we talk about the charges and all of that, it also affects how they are included into the banking or financial services. And so all of this is what we're considering now. And as my co-panelists talked about earlier, data is very important when you are working with this, because you need to understand them, you need to understand what they want. So I think that it's something that is still a bit progressive. People are still trying to know better, especially for the fintech space anyways. But for now, the one thing that we offer, and I think that this speaks across even for the banks as well, is that USSD, where you don't even need data on your phone, and you can still have access to so many banking or financial services.
Okay, there's a question here.
Not really a question, just trying to respond to the gentleman over there. You've actually not disappointed us. When you look at the basic characteristics of the Gen Zs, you see that it's about social responsibility of organizations where they reside, their location. So it is not out of place for him to ask what banks are actually doing. Banks are doing a lot, but I can only showcase what we are doing in Stanbic IBTC for your interest. There is a program we call DICEP. That program, the full meaning of DICEP is Digital Skills Empowerment Program, and it's for young graduates straight from university. We train them on all platforms of technology, artificial intelligence, coding, all manners of things, and we get them to certification level free of charge. Thereafter, we link them to the world of work. And then those that have displayed exemplary conduct and, interest are absorbed almost automatically into Stanbic IBTC. So that is just one way in which we support the Gen Z program. But let me tell you another interesting thing about your generation. And I'm saying this against the background of an interview I had 2 weeks ago with a Gen Z, candidate. The guy told me, after everything said and done, we moved to discuss offer, location, and stuff like that. And the lady asked me, the young lady said, so what's on offer? So I was trying to tell the candidate, whatever. And I got to a point where there was absolute disagreement. She told me point blank, I said, so you resume in the office 8 to 5 and your location of whatever. She said, what? What am I doing? What am I doing in your office? And at that point, I looked back, I said, what's going on here? She told me point blank, said, see, this is my bill. Virtual, this is what I expect in terms of offer. Hybrid, this is what I expect in terms of offer. Physical presence in your office, this is what I expect as an offer. So we need to start changing as employers also, responding to the type of, basically after COVID-19, we've seen basic changes unfolding in the whole world of work. And therefore, employers must also respond accordingly to ensure that whatever we do, we are also promoting the interest of all the generations, including the Gen Zs, which is very important in this case.
Thank you very much. I like the way they are stylish, the banks are stylishly advertising. Ma'am, permission to send them a bill after the event? Thank you. A large bill. So we'll take one here and then we'll take one here. Okay.
Thank you. First of all, I want to congratulate FITC Chizo and your team for this inroad. For some time now, we've heard so much about Millennial, Gen Zs and all that. I think FITC took the bull by the horn by getting into the study so we can have a scientific proof of what actually the needs of the Gen Zs are and the Millennials. I think in Nigeria, let me just restrict myself to this climb. I want to commend you for that. I also want to thank the panel. I think I've had an interesting morning. Chizo, your comments, I just want to make two comments on your presentation. At least we can meet ourselves, the grandmas and the Gen Zs. We can meet ourselves. Because you made a point that the banks should be in a position to share their profit. I don't know if I got you right. And my lady from Page tried to also modify it. I think my understanding is that not only do you want your interests at the end of the month, there are other things you also want once you have a banking relationship. And that's actually where your generation is going to. But the only thing I want to add, probably as a question, and as my own comment, I think it's only the last speaker that really, spoke my mind. We are just talking about banking relationship. Have we also tried to look at what can keep these Gen Zs and Millennials if you have them as your employees? We were just talking about relationships, what to gain, how to add value. You want some advice, you go to them and all that. They themselves. Because most of the bank, I don't know what is happening in the bank. I am from NDIC, and I know what is going on. Are they ready to stay? I think I've not read the report, so I can't say the report addressed that. But that's an area. I don't know how long they are staying. With the kind of demands the lady gave to the Stanbic, I don't know what to keep her after 2 years. I think we need to look at that areas, and the banks and probably FITC will have to help in that regard. Thank you very much. I bring you the goodwill from my managing director. Thank you.
Okay, my name is, can I be heard? I'm hearing myself. Okay, my name is Musumola. I work for Standard Chartered Bank. I'm a millennial. And unfortunately, my MD told me to represent him. How funny. So I just wanted to respond to two things. First, she's asked, like last time, let me say our grandma said that how are banks responding to retaining millennials. For a bank like mine, we have like Millennial Advisory Council. And what we do is we join management team from time to time to share ideas or things that could help them to do things in innovative ways. So that's one thing. I don't know if banks are doing it. You can take back to say that you can have that sort of group, Millennials, Gen Z, who would from time to time share with you what they would want or how they want things to run. Then back to the other person, the lady had asked earlier that at banks, really everything is charge. I'll say for Standard Chartered, for instance, card is free for a new-to-bank customer. Transfer is free. ATM is free. Even if you use ATM of other banks 5 times, 10 times is free. No one is going to charge you. Transferring accounts, funds from one bank to another is free. Like I said again, first-time card request on new to bank is free. So banks are offering a lot of things, and then you can actually get a number of things. So I'm speaking as a banker, and I'm also speaking as a millennial. My question will now be in terms of these days. I get unsolicited messages about. I don't know who's going to answer this question, but people say someone got funds from them, and then they are saying that this person is a chronic debtor, and is owing us money. So I don't know, I think it's coming from fintechs. If I'm right or wrong, I would like to be corrected. What are we doing in that space? Because I've even heard of situations where people committed suicide in terms of maybe they are, they felt embarrassed that their friends now know their issues. And the part of data confidentiality, what's that up? So I would like to understand what regulators are doing to ensure that such things are not really, it shouldn't be. For me, that's my thought. So that's just my question. And I hope I've been able to showcase my bank in a good way. Thank you.
And we'll send you your bill as well in a good way. Thank you very much. One more question, and then it's a wrap on the comments. Just one more. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sorry, I won't give you a chance to send any bill to me. It's okay. First, in all my dealings with FITC, I never had the perspective that it could actually deep dive this much and throw out the kind of facts thrown out. So for me, it's a great learning point, right? And I think I most honestly would benefit a lot more from the learnings from this. But I just want us to balance 3 things. When you speak with respect to the Gen Z, the millennials, these are billionaires of today that will be billionaires in the future. So if you are tailoring services that it's not taking cognizance the needs of this group, clearly you're pricing yourself after the future. I've had discussions with respect to digital currency, and for the millennials or Gen Z, once you hear digital currency, it's about cryptocurrency, crypto that. But growing up with respect to our generation, we're told that anything crypto, remove currency, it can put pregnancy in everything, means it's something false, right? I think there needs to be some level of perspective realignment in that space. And interestingly, we work in an environment where we have a regulator that has deep dived, look at it completely, and said clearly, look, we can create something that adds a lot more value than what you've seen. Today, if I may ask, what would you like to see from the perspective of the banking industry that will enable you adopt the most important digital assets that we have created, which is the e-Naira? What can we do to enable you? Because today, you realize pretty well that the whole amount of cash is stuck outside of the bank. Right? The e-Naira is one thing that we bring Naira into the command system. And the more we have that perspective, the more we're able to intervene and play a larger role with respect to what banks are meant to do. So what would we like to see us do differently? And to the fintechs here present, Paige, well done. You guys are doing a lot very well. So maybe they should send the check to you and not to Global's Bank. Right? So for us, I think it's from the perspective of cooperation and not competition. Right? You have all the time to create all the initiatives that will bring all the inclusion as being pushed by the regulators. What are the things you'd like to see from the cooperation perspective that will enable you work with banks to at least achieve our objectives with in industry. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Director Nixon. I have a question, a comment, and a wrap-up. It's been a very interesting afternoon and session, but there is something that is in this report very instructive, as many as every aspect of this report. And I know that the banks and the financial service sector will find this very valuable. It was very insightful to note that the preferred channel for transaction for the Millennials and Gen Z between mobile and physical branch was almost ranking at par. Is that not instructive? Preferred channel for account opening, preferred channel for loan, preferred channel for transaction, and that's very surprising. One of the things that came out of the report that many would have told you is 90% to 10. On this note, I would like to bring into the room our keynote speaker, represented by Segun. Please come out to give us insight into why this trend and what fintech and banks can do. It's so important to note that research and insight help us to change behavior or change our thought. If I had asked in this room, you would think that Millennials and Gen Z will prefer digital by 90% or 99%. But the report flips it otherwise, is almost ranking at par. We've also done a lot of investigation to know why. Very instructive, very insightful, and there isn't any better person to tell us that why and what we can all do than the keynote speaker. Segun, please come out and wrap up on that basis for this session. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Malize. Interesting at the end of it. So when I want to deal with someone, I want to make sure that I need to ensure that that guy understands my problems. That guy has thought through, whether it's on a digital channel or in person, he has thought through that problem from the mind of a human being, and he has provided a solution that addresses it from that perspective. I think my biggest takeaway from that banks and trying to solve those problems is the need to prioritize humanizing digital experiences. It's essentially speaking to the facts or two paradigms that we hear about consistently. The concept of digitizing and digitalizing. One is a process, digitizing is a process. It essentially says, I take the process of procuring clothes. So I have a shop and I decide to set up an online store. People go, they click on the dress they want and they buy. They pay and I get the dress delivered. That's simply digitizing the process. Digitalizing is a transformation process. It's me stepping back and asking questions. Why do people buy clothes? Then saying, what do I need to show them to lure them? You hardly wake up in the morning and say, I need a new dress. It is, I have an outing. What am I going to wear to that outing? And you ask yourself, how can I present those use cases in the minds of people and use that as a bait to get them to my online store? When they get on there, can I serve them recommendations on what other options? So if you're there to buy a piece of glasses, I also show you perhaps some makeup items that can make you look good. I portray, for example, you're buying face caps or you're buying shoes. I'm also on the side making recommendations on the color of the belt that goes with that. So I have thought through how you as a human being will think through that process before then taking that online. That's the digitalization concept. And that's really the ask today for us as bankers. So in the user journey of how we serve our customers. You go into a branch, you need financial advisory. But for me to be able to put financial advisory on a mobile app for you, I need to understand you as a person. I need to have understood your transaction flow, the type of activities you do, where you are in the social strata, what problems majority of people in that space are dealing with. So for example, you're a 21-year-old Nigerian. I have no data to back this up, but majority of people in that space are just coming out of university. The need for them is a job. So what guidance can I, on a digital platform, offering you financial services, give you to enable you get a job? Can I bring in partnerships from training institutes, some knowledge advice, some of our partners, and put them on that mobile app to help you solve your life problems? Can I give you some SME advisory, for example? You know, the point around this is the future of banking, the future of channel service really lies in how we can think through those human experiences and bring them onto digital channels. I think for me, that's the biggest takeaway from here. Let's humanize those digital experiences.
Thank you. Dehumanize digital experience, that's for fintech and the banks, and that's a major thing that came out of the report, as apart from so many others. Just to tell you one thing that we may not be thinking about. Rosemary, you want to take it over?
Yes. Thank you very much. At this time, we'll be going straight into the unveiling of the survey report.
Thank you.
Yes. And I'll be calling, of course,
yes, thank you very
the
much.
chief host.
I want to introduce to us, Diola, please step up, the real anchor for the report unveiling. Dr. Diola Agbeto heads our Insight, Innovation and Policy Advocacy at FITC. Thank you. Please, she does deserve that. She and her team have tirelessly worked on this report, amongst many others. This is just one focusing on millennials and Gen Z and several others. And they've put so much passion. So she's standing on behalf of herself and her team and FITC to introduce what we are about to reveal to the market right now, right?
Good afternoon, everyone. I wish to stand on existing protocol, and I'm very excited and delighted to have every one of us here in this room to witness the launch of the FITC, the Made in FITC Millennial and Gen Z reports. So many insights have been shared this afternoon, and I would just like us to go to our website and we can download a copy of the full report so that we can get additional insights from the report and the survey. So thank you very much once again for attending this launch.
Thank you. We want to release our panelists because we've quarantined them to 1 solid hour. Please, can you take this out so we can get them to take photos? Thank you very much. Put your hands together for them one more time. Thank you.
I see skies of blue, clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night, and I think to myself,
Moving into the most important segment, and that will be led by a very distinguished board chairman. I want to proudly start with that before I go with her bigger portfolio. And that is Ms. Aisha Ahmad, the board chairman of FITC. And then, of course, we also know that she's the deputy governor of the central bank with supervisory responsibility for financial service stability. So, ma'am, would like to ask you out one more time so you can lead the unveiling session. Thank you. She would also be supported by our Director Chugo, Board Director FITC. Director Tokwe, Dr. Fashoranti, please join in. Thank you very much. Director Fumi, please join in. Thank you very much. We also have Director Wale, is he here? NDIC is our Vice Chairman, please step out. The hefty directors there. Dr. Barrow, you're not on that lineup. We can't do it without you, Dr. Barrow. Thank you very much.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me start by thanking the directors, the members of the board of FITC. As you can see, they have graced this occasion in number. This is not unique to them. I think every single event, exercise that we have, they are always there for us. They're very busy people, and I'd just like to ask the audience to join me in appreciating them, our board of directors. So as we want to unveil this report, let me say that we are, okay, it's going to be on this side. We are very proud, not just of this particular report, because this is going to be just one of several interventions that FITC continues to produce to support capability in the financial services industry, to support market development. We're also very proud of the transformation of the organization itself, FITC, and how it continues to remain relevant after 40 years? 40 years of existence. And all of this transformation in financial services, not very easy to remain relevant. I'm sure if I asked us to check the companies that were in existence 40 years ago, many of them probably don't exist today. And that is a testament to the CEO's leadership and the staff. So we'd like to thank the staff as well. So now, we do it what? To the glory of God and for the benefit of the people of Nigeria and the world. We are very honored to unveil the, what's it called, this our report? Our Millennial and Gen Z Banking Survey Report. Together.
pressure for customer segment, Millennials and Generation Z. I think for me, just like has been mentioned today, there are a lot of collaboration that is required for us to be able to serve you. We should be able to create the markets that are required for your ecosystem to be able to continue to enjoy your social interactions, continue to enjoy our services, financial services, continue to enjoy our products as the case may be. Now, one question that came to my mind when the lady from Page was speaking, in fact, she actually threw a question to us, but no bank represented here has responded to it. And that was, how do we provide mortgage facilities via the digital platform? Okay? So, a lot of takeaways for us bankers. Second point, they don't want to work 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Do we have jobs for this customer segment? Do we have the kind of role that such employees from this segment will be able to fit into in our organizations? They can work from anywhere, all right, from the home. If they want to come to the office, so be it. They want to travel, they want to work outside the country, so be it. Do we have those roles? Okay? So, on that note, I will say that I will go back to my team. We'll continue to innovate, continue to partner with the fintechs, because I can assure you, no single segment, the service providers can deliver this. Not the fintech alone, not the banks alone. We have to collaborate, okay? With the insight from this report, be rest assured that a lot of us will go back and research further how we can improve the services we offer today as bankers, how we can improve the services we offer as fintech providers, as the case may be. So thank you very much. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, FITC, for this wonderful job. And I will speak to you people soon again. Thank you.
Okay, that's fine.
Yes.
They're waiting for you.
Clouds of white, bright blessed day, dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Okay, please, we would like to invite on stage Bukola Oluyole. Sorry, I don't know if that's the correct pronunciation. Please join on stage for some photograph. Bukola Oluyadi, yeah, I think that's it. Group Head Customer Experience, representing the MD CEO, Innocent CEK. Please come out and be on stage. Thank you. We also would like to invite Nixon Uwedi, ED, representing the MD CEO of Globus Bank.
So pretty.
Mr. Michael Iteye, Regional Manager Lagos, representing the MD CEO Taj Bank.
People going by.
Can we also have
shaking hands, saying how you do.
Mr. Digbo Adebajo, Head Talent Management, Sterling Bank. And then Mosumola Koka, representing the MD CEO, Lamin Majan, Standard Chartered Bank. Aisha to Ibrahim Mohammed, Group Head Human Resources, Jais Bank. Please be on standby and join them on stage. We have CC Bank, Buki Akunili, Associate Director, Manager, representing the MD, GT Bank. Eri Obedeju, sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrongly, just in the spelling. Company Secretary, Head Legal, GT Bank. And then we have Adewale Aina, Head Resourcing and Employee Engagement, Human Capital, Stanbic IBTC Bank. Chugo Ndubisi, I think he's already on stage. We have Olamide.
Of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying how do you do. They're really saying
more names.
So pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying how do you do. They're really saying I love you. I hear babies cry.
Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, one more time. I'm only just standing on the closing remarks protocols that has been done already by our very distinguished board director, Director Chugo of UBA, Executive Director UBA. I'm simply standing on those protocols to say on behalf of staff and management of FITC, thank you so much. Thank you for all of the support that we have gotten over the 40 years from the Central Bank of Nigeria, the owner and founder of FITC. Thank you, the Bankers Committee represented by all the big level banks in this room today. Thank you also for the marketplace that supported the survey with responses. If you want to get insights and there are no respondents, then there is no survey. We want to very particularly thank all the millennials that showed up in great number in this room. Please put your hands together for them. They did not only through the survey show and share their mind, they came physically and they made it happen. So the product is their insight, and then physically they've also been able to express their mind. For all the very, very important personalities in this room, to my right, to my left, and the entire room, you are all very important. Thank you for showing up and making this a worthwhile venture in terms of all the efforts that we have put in through to get this out for the marketplace. And the staff of FITC, diamonds and heroes alike. FITC, FITC, FITC. We ignite the market and ourselves, and we are super passionate about that. So we are very, very excited today. This is just like the chairman said, one of many. And we would also engage to share many more with us with time. With regards to how you would obtain this report, apart from our distinguished directors who have received their honorary copies, it will be available online for a fee, because we know that information, knowledge, and data is gold, isn't it? So there should be value to it. And so, please, we will send you details how you can obtain. And you know, like the millennials, we're very digital. It will be predominantly online. And on this note, I would like to bring this event to a close. And I say again, thank you, everyone. Please stop by the photo burner and take a very good photograph of yourself today. There would never be another today. Create the experience. Ourselves. And at this time, we will just do some refreshments before we hit the road. Thank you, thank you. I want to also very, very personally recognize and say a warm thank you to Dr. Ifekwem, representing the Vice Chancellor of the Bells University. Please put your hands together for her. Yeah. We totally recognize the importance of the academia and we work with them. And the Bell is cutting-edge technology institution, and we always do a whole lot with them. And all the students representing the Bells, put your hands together for yourself too. Thank you very much for traveling. They were here as early as 7 a.m. That's to tell you how important it is to them. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, FITC. Thank you, our board and our directors. Thank you, our guests and the distinguished people in this room. Have a wonderful rest of the day. It's a new dawn. Thank you.
So we have some very nice refreshments. Please grab something to buy before you proceed. Thank you very much once again. And for those who are not able to take photographs, we have a photo area outside. There will still be opportunities to take photographs. Yeah. Thank you.